gentlemen, carry on. Yes, let's
Yes,
kick off with the SSA to the
yes,
President
exactly. Has
of
to
Agriculture.
kickstart this conversation because, of course, we've had a number of times, on this platform, based on the National Economic Plan, which the Vice President headed. In fact, it was launched in 2019. It was launched. It launched the National Livestock Transformation Plan for this country, of course, to curb the conflicts that has remained perennial, between farmers and, of course, herders. And 3 years into the 10-year plan, not much has been heard of the impact of this particular transformation plan. You could just start off by letting us know what has transpired since 2019 when this template was launched.
Thank you, Kirian. And as you said rightly, that we have discussed this before on this platform. And it's important. I think this is the most appropriate time to give an update to Nigerians that the National Transformation Plan, since 2019 when it was approved, what has happened. So 2 things. Let me start with the easier one, that we lost almost the whole of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, because the National Livestock Transformation Plan requires a close-knitted working between the federal government and the subnationals, that's the states. But not all hope has been lost. A lot of work has been done. I can tell you that out of the first 7 pilot states, before the Northern Governors Forum in their meeting in 2019 in Kaduna adopted the program for the entire 19 northern states, more than 22 governors have clearly written the details expressing their interest to participate. And there has been, in more than 10 states today, standing state committees or state livestock transformation plans. Even during this COVID-19, we have been able to train the state teams of states like Kogi, and Ekiti training is in the offing. But it's very also important to note that between 2018, when Mr. President had a state visit to the Netherlands, and January this year, we have finalized to start to kickstart in full developing this, implementing this plan in 4 states with collaboration with the Danish government. You have heard Minister of Agri mention that one recently in Nasarawa. So there have been a lot of work, but one thing that we cannot, we can say that has happened is the preparatory and the participation of the state, having the state teams and the dialogues, because the National Livestock Transformation Plan has the economic component, which I hope will go into details how it works, and the conflict component. So these states, having instituted the state teams, have been dialoguing with their communities, and this has helped. And we have updates from states every now and then on how this participatory engagement has been working. So we are on course. We are on course, absolutely. And I hope that we will have the opportunity to explain more to Nigerians the details of where each state is and how actually this rollout is happening. But I can tell you that Nasarawa groundbreaking will be about the 21st of this month, and that will also carry along the other 3 states of Adamawa, Plateau, and Gombe. And we have quite a number of partners are around the table. But you have to understand that the National Livestock Transformation Plan is strategic in the sense that we cannot leave anything to chance now. Science has to lead. So knowing where this land is, the grazing reserve, knowing the futures, the demographies. So today we have done 7 states with their demographies, how many pastoralists, how many cattle can be accommodated, how many families of non-pastoral families that are farming in it. Because you have to understand that the demographies have changed. And for us to succeed with this, the science of who is within this grazing reserve. So that's the first thing under the National Livestock Transformation Plan. How do you understand the demography? Today, there are 3 clear demographies within the grazing reserves, and the data we have gathered from 7 states is that there are pastoralists living there. There are agro-pastoralists, those that also farm. But there are farmers that have encroached, we cannot call it encroached, but have moved because of our agricultural practices of shifting cultivation, have moved from the surrounding villages and are now farming within these grazing reserves. So the first thing we have done in these states is understand the availability of land and who are the residents, and then adopt the National Livestock Transformation Plan to accommodate everyone so that we have this transformation from within. And this is fundamental. And this work is ongoing, knowing also what type of soil is there, the soil profile of the area, the water. I can tell you that for the 4 states that the piloting is taking off now, we know what is the soil type, what is the water profile and everything within the state. So there's quite a number of work that has gone on that is not known to the public. But these works have to happen. And then dialoguing with the residents to understand that we are doing this in line with the design of the National Livestock Transformation Plan. Principally meaning what? That this transformation will not be sustainable until and unless the central people is built around the central people, the pastoralists and the other crop farmers that are associated with the grazing reserve. The pastoralists are fundamental, and the National Livestock Transformation Plan is to handhold them to understand how to do things differently. And that is why the minister was saying in Nasarawa that this startup with the Dutch government is to make sure that we understand and we teach. It will involve 30 households, pastoral households, 30 of them, that are living within, and they will be taught how to grow their own pasture, how to conserve their own water, how to build and run ranch. The first unit that we are starting with is the unit that becomes like a knowledge center. And we have given ourselves 24 months to train these first 30 households that will go out to build their own ranches while other people also are learning how to do it. Because once they do not know how to do it, there's nothing you are going to get. So sustainability. So what is key is that we have now finalized the project appraisal document that is copy and paste. And honestly, I must give it also to this current Minister of Agriculture. He tasked us, he said, okay, fine, the strategy has been developed and finalized by the National Economic Council under the Vice President. Mr. President has given his backing. In fact, we have this partnership with the Netherlands because of Mr. President's visit there, where he had told them that he needs support. But the minister said, I want to see it built such that we can copy and place and adopt in other places. And we have been able to do this now. So carefully identifying who are the families, the first 30 families you start with, that can be the springboard for the other pastoral families within the grazing reserve. And quickly, I must also thank the governors of the states for understanding that once these people settle and the pastoralists settle and they develop this new model system, they are issued rights to remain within the grazing reserve and to own land that will become their own land, not to move around to other people's land. So these are fundamental things that Nigerians need to understand, that this transformation, we must get it right now. There is nothing like just attempting to do anything anyhow, but we must follow the design and do it right so that we are sure of sustainability and that the pastoralists will renew their way of livestock production, because government has helped to create an ecosystem that transfer knowledge to them. I will rest here.
All right.
Thank you very much, Kirian. So, first and foremost, I will start with the comment from the Mietiala National Secretary. To say that the pastoralists are not carried alone, it's not right. It's not right, absolutely, because I know that in everything we have done, and I can tell you the exact numbers and who was consulted. So if you have to understand the way the Mietiala Cattle Breeders Association operate. They have the national body where Baba Gerzama is the national secretary, and they have the state chairperson and their own structures. In what we are doing in National Livestock Transformation Plan, there is no state that there has been a single meeting without having all the stakeholders present, the pastoralists, the crop farmers, and the surrounding community. There is no single state, and we have in Nasarawa, for instance, 7 grazing reserves surveyed so far. All the pastoralists. I personally have been involved in all of these processes. Before the lockdown of 2020, the program that is to start this February, the takeoff of the pilot sites, I was in Nasarawa, I was in Plateau, in Adamawa, with the Dutch consortium that is doing partnership with Nigeria for the teaching pastoralists on how to settle. And I know that we were in all the grazing reserve, sitting with the pastoralists, even identify if they understood what is happening, how they want it done. They have been in all of the meetings. I can walk to any of these grazing reserves today, and I call the ROs by name. So I have been in all of them. And we have carried, we have even stepped down stakeholder from state down to the community where the grazing reserve is. Who are the key? What is the household? We have the data of every household. How many cattle, how many goats, how many sheep, how many chicken? And then as a farmer, how much hectares of land you are farming within that grazing reserve. So this is completely, and I can understand that maybe there has not been a lot of noise about what we are doing within this grazing reserve, but every member, down to who are the first 30 households, have been carried along.
But it's curious, I should come in here, Dr. Kwasari, that in spite of these consultations that you are referring to, the National Secretary of Mietiala made the comment that he made. But there are lessons to learn from what is happening in Niger State. Niger did not give an indication of this kind of widespread consultation you are talking about, trying to take a census of how many chickens or goats are roaming around in those reserves, and yet the reserves, according to him, are up and running.
That is, listen, sir, it's a very good interjection you made. And let me tell you, I have been to Bobby. What the secretary is saying is true, but we have also been part of the consultation in Bobby. I was there with the then Minister of Agriculture, Chief Audu Obe. We had all of this interaction. We had all the understanding of the resources within. What I'm saying is that we are not going to get anywhere without the proper ownership of this project, particularly the immediate beneficiaries. The buy-in of stakeholders is central. And he knows, the secretary in Niger, knows that the efforts they are making didn't just happen arbitrarily. Look, sir, we have done this arbitrary approach for years, and it has not taken us to anywhere. And let me even correct an impression. The how is what will make us solve this problem finally. If you tell me today, for instance, from the research available, and I would like Professor Sharambuzu to show us, do you know how long, if you check the budget of Nigerian government, how long there has been monies for providing water and pastures in the grazing reserves? It's been there since, and it's on the budget of government, both state and federal, as far back as independence. But the question we have found out developing National Transformation Plan is that the approach, once there is no ownership of that water and pasture, then nobody cares for it. These are resources that are not, when you put them, for pasture, for instance, somebody has to be responsible, somebody has to determine how long you graze on it or how long you harvest it, what's the interval of care, how do you replenish it. So it's not something as if you just build pasture, you've solved the problem.
You're making a good point, no,
No,
right?
It's very good.
That's to me highly, elitist.
No, there's nothing elitist about it, sir. There's nothing elitist about it. The pastoralists within the grazing reserves, and I'm speaking with authority, having dialogue with them. There's nothing different between pastoralists and a maize farmer in your village, sir, or a rice farmer who once threw the seed of maize, but today they make a nursery and transplant rice. Who once planted maize 20 meters apart? Today they are telling you that they are planting 6 inches apart. So it's just hand-holding and training. And this training must just be necessary, and it has nothing to do with
Well, this is part of what my colleague